All right. Once again, welcome to everyone. I believe you can all see my screen, which is being shared at the moment. I would like someone to unmute themselves really quick and try to brief us a little bit on what we did during the last session, and I'll intervene to complete it at from when the person speaks. So any person who was within the session of last week can unmute yourself and tell us a little bit of what you understood from what we did during the last session. Can you do that? Who's gonna do that? Can anybody situated right now? Well, to not waste much of our time, I'll just go ahead and so during the last session, we began with chapter 2. After having finished with chapter 1 in the previous week. So within chapter 2, we broke down the various things that we had to cover into several submodules within the chapter. So inside that chapter, we walked through a safety module. We saw what electrostatic discharge was. We also looked at how to protect from electrostatic discharge under the submodule that was termed ESD protection. We also began looking at environmental controls, and today we are continuing from power concerns. Today we are continuing from power concerns. All right. So what is happening now is that I will just brief you a little bit on the site, because we ended somewhere here due to disconnect, and yeah. As a matter of fact, we were talking about ESD protection. How do you protect yourself and your working environment from electrostatic discharge? For those who are not present and spoke of electrostatic discharge, I will implore you to go through the recording, and if something is not understood, you can get back to us and we'll explain to you. And we'll take more time to explain that to you, because if we have to go back to it and start breaking it down again, it's going to take a lot of time from our current session. So we said that in order to reduce the chances of electrostatic discharge or protect your environment, you have to understand that if you have high humidity within your workspace, you're going to face issues with condensation, which is the state where water changes state from gas to liquid. You're going to face condensation. If your humidity is too low, so in your, or let's say in your office settings where your computers are, if everywhere is too dry, you're going to face issues with electrostatic discharge. Now, the ideal humidity is about 40 to 60%. So when your atmosphere is 40 to 60% humid, that is the adequate humidity for a workspace. So a lot of us already have smartphones these days, and it is made possible by these manufacturers for you to test your surrounding humidity. Winter overheating will damage. So yeah, as we were saying, overheating causes damage of a lot of components. You have to understand that and regularly clean this dirt and dust from your system. Also, when you look at the way you're supposed to do that, you might be asking me, how do you just do that? Do you just blow air into it? Do you just dust it with any type of cloth, or do you how even go about cleaning? What you have to do is turn the PC off and use compressed air. There is the kind of air that you find that we use to inflate car tires. That kind of air is what we refer to as compressed air. You can use compressed air to blow dust or dirt out of the PC. You can also use a non-static vacuum. This is a type of vacuum that sucks. Instead of blowing, it sucks air instead, and in the process is going to carry dirt and dust out of your system. You could also use a damp cloth if need be. What is a damp cloth? Like a cloth that is gently wet, like it is mildly. What do you wet it? There are special chemicals. It is not water. It is not water. I want to really pay a huge emphasis on this. Do not, never you clean any electrical component with water. Never you do that. There are some solvents that you could use, like isopropyl alcohol. You can get it from a pharmacy, from the market, or anywhere. You can use isopropyl alcohol and other types of solvents to clean your PC with a damp cloth. And always make sure, enable that the devices are on before you start cleaning them. One thing you should also know is that the type of material, the type of rack that you use, or the cloth which you use to clean this PC is not just any kind. There is a special type of cloth that we refer to as lint-free cloth. Lint, L-I-N-T. Lint, a cloth that is lint-free, which means it's that type of cloth where when you wipe something, it does not leave any residue, like particles and these little follicles around the area. Next, we also say we talked about how do you dispose of your used equipments or components of the PC that are no longer needed or have reached their end of service. How do you dispose them of them? How do you dispose them of? Sorry. What is the proper air quality within your work setting, and how to clean your devices. That brings us now to the next subtopic that we have for today, which is power concerns. Just before we start from the previous explanation, do you have any question or contribution before we continue? Any question or contribution before we continue?
Yes, I got a question, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, you said you said the first way we can clean the PC using this air they used to inflate in tires. So from which direction can we use like insert it for it to blow it out, like where?
All right. Thanks for that question. I really wanted to pay much emphasis on that, but I didn't want to make it long or complex. Okay, you should understand that when I say the type of air that is used to inflate tires, I don't mean exactly that one. That one is too harsh. It's going to damage components inside your PC. There are some chips that are not well soldered on the chip, on the motherboard, that can be removed by that air. I mean, it is that category, that type of air, but it is a lot more gentle, all right? It is a lot more gentle. It blows out dust. So as of where you blow this compressed air, it is like, let's take for example, within your CPU case, where you find the motherboard, you find the power supply unit, the optical drives, and all other components within the CPU. The dust can accumulate in there. How would dust accumulate? Because we have fans, we have CPU fans, we have case fans, and a lot of other fans that pull in cold air in order to, like, they do it is rather reverse. It does not push air out, it rather takes air in to cool the PC inside. So in the process of taking that air inside, it can take dust from outside and it piles up, it accumulates inside. So that dust and dirt can make your PC so overheat instead of cooling it. So it kind of causes the reverse intention. So the process of blowing it with compressed air is done within the CPU case, not inside internal components. Though there are some components that you could blow air into, but not every component. Some are sensitive, you should not do that. So yeah, that's how it's done. I don't know if I believe I've answered your question, right?
Then what can I also use it on laptops, or it can only be done on desktops?
Yeah, when I mean by a PC, it is every single device. If there is a device that has dust in it that you need to clean, it is safe if you use compressed air to clean. You use compressed air, which is very gentle. It is not harsh, not a harsh one. You can clean your laptop as well with compressed air, and even sometimes even phones are clean with compressed air. So yeah, is your question completely answered?
Yes, sir. It's completely understood, sir.
All right. Thanks for chipping in something. So does anyone have another question before we continue? Mr. Felix, do you have any question?
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. All right. The general silence makes me believe that everything is well. So we hereby proceed to the next subtopic, submodule within this chapter, which is power concerns. What is power concern in general? What are we talking about here? I'm going to explain a few concepts to you just before we go ahead with the explanation of this submodule. First thing, what is a power surge? A power surge is an increase in voltage that lasts for seconds. So, assuming our normal voltage is 10 volts, and out of a sudden it goes to 50 volts and lasts for like 10 to 15 seconds, we refer to that scenario as a power surge. Now, another scenario, we have a normal voltage to be 10. All of this is assumption, right? All of this is assumption. They are not facts. If we have a normal voltage level to be 10 volts, and out of a sudden it leaves from 10 volts to 50 volts also, but this time around, it does not even last 1 second. We refer to that as a power spike. A power spike. Good. Now, instead, we already see a scenario where the power goes up and lasts for some seconds or a millisecond. What about if the power went down? It went below the normal level. Let's say it goes below the 10 level, the 10 volt that we have to be normal. If it leaves 10 and goes to like 5 or 3 voltage or 3 volts, we refer to that as a sag, a power sag, S-A-G. You might know of that in the sense where you say you refer to that as a low voltage. A lot of you might already be referring to that commonly as low voltage, where the required voltage is not arriving, but it is coming in a lower intensity. As a result of power sags or low voltages, we are going to experience what we refer to as a brownout. What is a brownout? A brownout is a scenario where if the power is not coming the way it is intended to, and it is rather at a very low rate, not supplying enough electricity to all your device components. As a result, if you're watching TV, you will start seeing this kind of blurry lines, everything that is glitchy. But eventually, this is gonna stabilize, as we always realize that low voltages or power sags don't last forever. Rather than experiencing a brownout, you could also experience a blackout. This is complete breakage of electricity. This is not a scenario where there is just low supply. This is where electricity completely shuts down and like goes away. So it could be due to the fact that a power line is down, a transformer might have failed, or a circuit broke, sorry. If the cable that is supplying you breaks abruptly, you experience what we refer to as a blackout. Now, I believe you already know what a power surge is and what a power spike is. You know what a SAC is and what it does cause, which is brownout. Now, there is this particular device that we refer to as a surge protector. A surge protector. What does a surge protector do? It filters out power surges, like when your electricity is coming 100 volts over the normal level. The surge protector is capable of eliminating that extra and providing you with a constant normal supply of electricity or energy. As we did take an example previously, we said that if your normal level is 10 volts and all of a sudden you start receiving 50 volts and that lasts for like 10-15 seconds, normally a lot of your devices will be working normally with 10 volts, and over 20 volts they can explode. So what a surge protector does is that it eliminates that surplus. It cancels it out completely and leaves you just with the normal amount of electricity that is needed by you on your device to function. So a surge protector also conditions power. Before a surge even occurs, a surge protector can detect it and turn your devices off. An example of a surge protector is what we call locally a regulator. In French, régulateur de tension. Sorry for having to go that part. A surge protector can actually protect you from power surges and power spikes, but it does not protect you from SACs and brownouts. So that being said, you should know that your regulator can protect you from high voltages, but it cannot protect you from low voltages. Reason being that it can only provide a constant rate of electricity if there is a surplus, but if there is less, it cannot manufacture more. That's why you see that it can protect you from high voltages, which is power surges and spikes, but it does not protect you from low voltages, which we are talking here of SACs and brownouts. Within our previous module, we did talk about a particular tool, which is referred to as a UPS. We talked about a UPS. UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply and is a battery backup that automatically takes over when power is taken away. So it acts like a power bank. I believe we all know power banks, right? It acts like a power bank, but there are two types. It comes in two types. Before actually having to talk about the types of UPSs that come out, I'm going to talk about the things that it does. It does not just provide battery backup, it can also condition your power. So it can act as a surge protector. So what you have to understand is a lot of UPSs come these days with the ability to protect devices from surge. So it has a surge protector. That's why at some point in time, you're going to see that you can see that all the outputs from a UPS have surge protection, but just few of them have battery backup. This means that any device that you plug on this particular port up here is going to receive both surge protection and is also going to receive battery backup. What does this mean? It means any device that is plugged into these ports up here will keep on having electricity even when light goes off. If electricity is taken away, these devices that are plugged up here will keep on receiving electricity from the battery backup that is found inside the UPS. On the other hand, you have other ports down that you can see down that only benefit from surge protection. So in one way or the other, they're only going to get the benefits of a régulateur de tension, as we commonly say in French, of surge protection. They are going to just receive what we refer to as surge protection. Now, I will go back real quick to what a surge protector does. We say it has a battery backup that automatically provides power as needed. Now, let me talk about those two types of surge protectors that we do have. We have an online UPS. Sorry, I'm not talking about surge protectors anymore. I'm talking about UPSs. Let me talk about the two types of UPSs that we have. We have an online UPS and we have an offline UPS. What is an online UPS? An online UPS is that type of UPS that is immediately providing you power supply and charging its battery at the same time, such that when light goes off, the battery automatically kicks in. Like the battery continues, there's like no breakage. The battery just continues providing power without any downtime. What is the meaning of downtime? I just want to explain this because as we continue with this program, you're going to understand what downtime is. A downtime is a period of time where a system is unavailable. So an online UPS provides minimum downtime. The UPS provides direct electricity to your devices, and it's also charging the battery at the same time. On the other hand, an offline UPS is one that has its battery already charged and kept. It does not use the battery supply. It provides direct current, but it only comes in when electricity has gone off, all right? When electricity goes off completely, that's where the battery kicks in. It's not like a continuous something. So that's the difference between an online UPS with an offline UPS. UPS protects you from power spikes, from sags, brownouts, and blackouts. So unlike the normal surge protectors that we do have, that could not protect you from sags and brownouts, UPS can protect you if there is an excess in electricity or a surplus. UPS can protect you if there is a scarcity or a shortage in electricity because it has battery. The battery can fill in that amount of electricity that is lacking. A UPS can also protect you from a brownout because a brownout comes as a result of a sag, which a sag is the situation where electricity is short, the voltage that is coming in is less than the required amount. And it can also protect you from a blackout, reason being that it has a battery that can completely take over and supply power or electricity with the same amount of energy as the normal electricity would. While installing UPSs in your system or in your office setting, considering cost as a factor, because they are not very cheap, right? They're not very cheap to implement. But if you have a system where every single device is critical, where the data is being stored both on personal computers and in the servers, you have to connect every single device to the UPS. So you are technically plugging in every computer that you have and every server to a UPS, one for itself. You don't want to have a situation where you have 3 computers connected to one UPS. It's going to speed up the time by 3, and you find yourself using a UPS that was supposed to be used for 3 hours. You use it in 1 hour and everything, the battery is drained completely. So you want to have one UPS per device to maximize the time out of it. So this is for a scenario where budget is not a problem and data sensitivity or data confidential, maintaining data online is very important. That's where you have to spend that much to make sure that every single device, irrespective of whether it is a server or it is a normal PC, should be connected to a UPS. Nevertheless, you could also have systems where the PCs or the computers just connect to the server. They don't do anything very, very special. All they do is just receive and submit data to the server, and that's where it is being stored. So the one thing that you want to keep online in case of power outage is just the server. So no need to connect your computers to UPSs. That's why you see on this diagram, only servers are linked to a UPS. We've already talked of the types of UPSs, offline and online UPS. Now, these are the things that you have to consider when buying a UPS. A UPS, there are a lot of manufacturers for UPSs that you could consider getting. And or if you wanna get this thing, one thing you should consider is the power rating, right? You should check what amount of power it can provide. You also have to check how much time it can run for, but planning for half of the advertised time. The reason being that when they are giving you a specific time, it is because they have tested that time with the minimum requirements, which means if a UPS has like 3 ports for 3 computers and it can take 30 minutes, they are going to test just one computer and come and tell you that it can take 1 hour. If you're planning that for that 1 hour, you're going to be doomed because you didn't plan for half of the advertised time. They tested it just with the minimum requirements. So if you want to buy a UPS and it says 70 minutes, have it in mind that you're going to you have it planned but for like 35 or 30 minutes. Remember that when you purchase a UPS, the more PCs or the more devices you have connected will reduce your runtime. Runtime is the amount of time that the device is online. Downtime is the amount of time that the device is offline. I believe it makes sense now, right? From the previous explanation, I believe it all makes sense now. So how do you configure a UPS in the first place? What you have to do is plug it into the wall first. Let it charge. Then you plug it now to your PC. Remember making sure that you only plug essential devices to the battery backup, and any other device you can put it only on surge protected outlets. Remember also that I talked within the previous session about you never plugging in a laser printer into your battery backup, never plug in a battery backup into, sorry, I'm trying to do something. All right. You see this section here, which is the part of the UPS that provides battery backup. Don't plug a laser printer here. The reason being that laser printers consume an outrageous amount of electricity. The amount of electricity that they need to function is just on a whole new level. So you have to try as much as possible to avoid using these battery backup ports to plug in laser printers. If at all it is extremely necessary, extremely necessary, unless otherwise, do not plug laser printers into the backup ports of your UPS. Also, there is the PSs also come with their softwares, right? Some of them come with their softwares, others do not. But Windows already has by default a program within the control panel that permits you to set up your UPS in such a way that you plug it with a particular cable that is able to send data to the UPS, tell it when power is power is out, so that it can automatically take over. It can take over. You can do that. So when you plug that cable, you could use a serial cable or a USB cable to connect your UPS to your computer. So besides using power cable to connect these things, you can also use a USB or a serial cable to connect them. What would this cable permit you to do? It will be able to let you monitor the state of your battery, right? You can also see how much the battery has charged. You can see if it is charging correctly, and you can send a command to the OS to shut down. Why is this command necessary? This command is necessary when is it considered? Sorry, let me just keep and answer this question that says, When is it extremely necessary for somebody to plug in a laser printer into a battery backup UPS port? If you have really critical office documents to print, yes, you might do that, but unless otherwise, you must not. All right. I hope, Mr. Fisa, you're listening and you're understanding what I'm saying. If unless otherwise very, very, very critical or very essential, do not plug a laser printer. I'm really paying a lot of emphasis. I'm laying a lot of emphasis on the fact that it is a laser printer. It uses an outrageous amount of electricity. Don't plug it to a UPS. You might not even be able to finish what you started because it will just juice the PC out. One of the features of, I hope I answered your question. One of the features of one of the reasons, sorry, why you should plug a data cable, that is a USB or a serial cable to the UPS to connect the CPU and the UPS is that is there any local name for a UPS? Unfortunately, I'm not very versed with that right now, but by the end of the session, we are going to find out all together. One thing I know is it is just called UPS, uninterruptible power supply. You could call it power bank if you like. You could call it power bank. It's just that in this case, it is not the regular power bank that you use to charge your phones. It is a big power bank that can provide power to laptops, to desktops, and even to servers, all right? I believe I've also sorted that out. As I was saying, why would you need a cable to connect, a data cable to connect your PC and your UPS? Aside from the fact that there's a power cable, it is because you want that if the UPS is getting very low, like 5% or like 10 or 5%, well, all of this can be configured. You can set where you want it to be, shut down your computer. When it gets when the battery is draining out already, the UPS can send information, can send a shutdown command to your computer's operating system. So it will provide a means for smooth shutdown, which means that you have to, the PC will save everything that you were doing first before shutting down. Whereas an abrupt shutdown is a scenario where you just find your computer just shuts down irrespective of what you were doing. So when you have actually a data cable present, when your battery is going low, extremely low, the UPS is going to send a shutdown command to the PC and your PC will shut down smoothly. Summarily, in this sub-module, we have talked about power concerns. We discussed what a UPS is and the various types of UPSs. We also talked about how you choose a UPS and how to configure auto shutdown of from the UPS. All of this will be pretty much understood. Like you have to do, we're not just going to talk about this thing as we did right now. As you all get your user accounts to the student platform, you're going to have labs where you're actually going to install a UPS and configure one. So sit on tight, don't believe that this is everything that it entails. This is not the last thing, this is not all, this is not the end of the road. On the user student platform, you're going to be able to work physically with all these devices. So that's one of the wonderful reasons that we are here today. So before we continue to the next submodule, is there any question? There should be, because I've said a lot of things. There should be a question. Is there any question? The only worry here should be, who am I going to get that question from? So yeah. Any questions?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead.
Just a small worry.
All right.
When you say online UPS, the online UPS, is it a software which you install and then you can use from there or what?
All right, thank you. I didn't know this would coach explain that saying online UPS will open this section of your brain. I think you're Albert Einstein. You think beyond the normal. So
thank you.
When we say online UPS, it does not mean a UPS that is in the software or is in the computer or you access it through the internet. It actually has nothing to do with the internet. It is simply a normal UPS, the physical one that you have. But the difference it has with an offline UPS is that instead of the battery just staying on its own separately, waiting to come in only when electricity has gone off, it is the battery that is constantly supplying you power. So the battery is being charged and supplying power at the same time in an online UPS. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, in an online UPS, it is not like the battery is separate. The battery is not separate from you can see that the battery right here is being charged and kept in an offline UPS. It only comes in when power has gone off. But this other one, it is the battery that is constantly being charged and it is providing also power to the PC. That's why we call it online. It is not offline and waiting to come when power goes. It is the one that is constantly online providing power. I hope you understand now.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right.
And just a second question.
All right.
There's a second question, still about the UPS.
Okay.
Can we easily get it around? It's true you mentioned that it's not cheap. So, like, how do you recommend we purchase them?
Okay, you can actually buy UPSs, I think pretty much anywhere. It only matters the cost of a UPS differs with respect to the size, the wattage, the uptime, the runtime, sorry, and yeah, you know, other aspects like that. There are the variables that will come in place to make the cost of a UPS vary. If you look at this particular one that we have on the screen right now, you will notice that it has 750 or 450 watts. It has a 70-minute runtime. It has 10 outlets and there's a 3-year warranty. Definitely, you know, this is a top tier UPS. It has possibility for you to connect 10 devices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's the 10th one? I think it's behind. It has the possibility oh yeah, it's 10. There is 3 here, 2, 5, another 4 here, 9, and this one 10. So you see, based on these little variations, these factors, you can choose. It's based on the feature that you want, right? It's just the same as you want to buy a phone. The phone that has 128 gigabytes of storage is definitely going to be more expensive than the phone that has 64 gigabytes of storage. So all that is a flexibility that is totally left on you. It's dependent on you, your budget and stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of like a power bank, a big power bank. Power banks, most of you should have already bought power banks before. You know how you manage to determine the cost of a power bank by the battery size, the number of outlets, and the features that the power bank has. So yeah, that's it. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. About the part of where do you buy it? The part where you say where do you buy one?
Like, where can we get one? Yes, I mean,
yes.
reliable ones.
Well, Amazon is always a good option because you'll be able to compare it with a lot more other brands. But if you want to get a UPS, consider getting a UPS from Schneider APT, the APT brand. This one you see right here. There are other brands out there that are also very good. Subsequently, to not use too much of our time, just keep that written somewhere at the back of your mind. Within our next session, we are going to start with doing a little online research of UPSs, their cost, and how we can purchase them from wherever we are found in the world. All right.
Okay, great.
All right, cool. Any other question from any other person? I expect you guys to load me with a whole lot of questions because there's actually a lot that we've spoken about, unless you want to tell me that your computers, that you can just listen one time and assimilate everything. Is there any question, something you need to clarify yourself on? All right. What if I rather say, is there any contribution? Is there any addition someone has to bring? like maybe a personal experience. Personal experience is actually very good for us for our learning environment. Do you have any personal experience that you need to share with us that is related to what we are talking about in this session? That will also be welcome. Nobody? Nobody. Right, cool. I have one question for you guys then. I have one question. If a desktop computer, is there a desktop computer that can work without being plugged into an electric outlet? Have you ever heard of or seen a desktop computer that can work without direct electricity? At least you guys should have an answer to this. It's a no or a yes question.
No, I think it's no.
You think it's no? Who thinks it's yes? Who also thinks it's no, first of all? If you think it's no, just unmute yourself and mute back. If you think it's yes, unmute and say yes.
I think it's no.
Right.
I haven't seen one yet. But I think it exists.
Okay. Okay. You think it exists, but you haven't seen one yet. Well, let me burst your bubbles. About three.
Sorry. I was thinking so that as you're speaking of UPS and you said it could store like electricity or power supply, which for big devices like computers. So I was thinking if a desktop can also be, can I say, connected to a UPS in case of there's no electricity.
All right. That was.
But
that
the
was
UPS be like, but the UPS will be like its power supply. You just say it is not. I don't think there's desktop that can work without the power supply.
all right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So is that all? Can I continue? Mazuli, anything you have to say? Mazuli, do you have anything to add to this argument? All right. Let me bust your bubbles. About three of you want to say something? Or just go ahead, say something.
No, okay. My connection is really disturbing.
It's all right.
Yeah, I think there are desktops that don't use direct current. I think they are.
That work with that does not necessarily need direct calling, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. As I was saying, I'm gonna bust your bubbles by saying that 3 to 4 years behind, I saw a desktop computer made by Acer. I don't know if you know Acer, the brand, ACER, the manufacturer of computers. I saw a desktop. It was very huge. It was very huge. That desktop had a battery inside. I don't know if the project was just a concept, a prototype, or it was actually commercialized on a large scale till today. But that desktop was very huge. It had a battery inside that could keep the desktop running for 3 hours, even when power goes off. So it was a kind of an incorporated UPS. I hope you understand. So as of the question, is there a desktop that can run without being directly plugged into a wall outlet? Yes, there is. I've seen one produced by Acer. There might be a lot more out there, but we're left to find out. Why would you even need one, whereas you have laptops? These days, there are laptops that can go for up to 8 hours. And okay, before we do continue, I have one more question for all of you. Which laptop brand has the best batteries? Like which laptop brand has batteries that can last the longest? I need everybody to contribute on this. Everyone needs to say something on this. I'm going to start with Mazule. Mazule, which laptop brand do you think has the best battery that lasts the longest? Sorry, let me not say laptop brand. Which manufacturer produces laptops with the best batteries? Which manufacturer? Mazule, I want to start with you. That your name is the name is already in my lips. Mazule, you have something to say or not?
I think the MacBooks.
You think MacBooks? So Apple. So Apple.
Yeah, Apple. Yeah.
Okay. Mazule thinks Apple. We have one Apple. We're going to proceed with Mr. Felix. Mr. Felix, you say something. Yeah, I have one person that says Apple.
Yes.
She said Apple.
So far, okay. Apple is one thing, but so far I haven't been disappointed with Lenovo, which is what I've been using for a while now.
Okay. Mr. Felix goes for Lenovo. Who's the next person? Please just call yourself out. Josh Amanda. Which laptop brand has the best batteries?
I think the HP laptops might have a good battery
Okay, he goes with
lifespan.
okay, he goes with HP. Nabila.
Sorry. Mine, from what I've seen, is Dell.
All right. Dell. Gino Zidane. Gino Zidane. Gino Zidane. While he's waiting up to say something, Vale, what do you think it is?
What did I wanted to say? HP, sir.
HP? Did you just say HP?
Yes, sir.
You just said HP. All right. All right. So we have currently 2 people that said HP. There is one last person, Zidane. Zidane?
Let me close my eyes.
Okay, I'm just going to let you all know that the Dell is the one. The laptops with the best batteries that last longest are manufactured by Dell. So if you're considering to buy, when you're discussing with your clients or irrespective of where you're working, you're going to be working one day, or a friend, as IT technicians, you should be able to recommend good laptops to the people, because someone will come and see you. Hey, my friend, I want to get a computer. I don't know anything about it. Which type of computer do you think I should get? The things you're supposed to do is like start by asking the person what their budget is, so that you can know which kind of things to recommend. You can't just start recommending things without even knowing what the person's budget is. So when you know what the person's budget is, you ask about what the person wants to do with that computer. Is it just for regular office work? Is it for a normal person, like just watch movies, play games, or read books, write documents, or stuff like that? When you know what the person's intention is, you will now be able to recommend the spec. You'll be able to tell the person that you might need this graphics card with this capacity. You need a battery that can last very long, especially if somebody is the person travels a lot. You can recommend a laptop that has a good battery and stuff like that. So this was exceptionally an aside. I just wanted to clear your thoughts on your mind a little bit. away from the regular class. And now that that is done, let me take one more question before we continue. I'll take one more question. Any question? One more. Good. The next subtopic we have to discuss upon here is professionalism. How do you make a good first impression? How do you make not just a good first impression, how do you make a good impression in your working environment, before your clients and the society at large? It is by respecting some of these principles. If you're always able to be early, everyone have appointments to, that's a very good sign. You'll be very much respected and people will give you all the respect that due to you. Follow the dress code. Some companies will tell you how you're supposed to dress. Don't dress extravagant. Don't go out of that lane. One of the reasons why secondary schools in Africa ask people to dress in uniforms is because they want you to be able to follow rules. They want to be able to input that skill in you to be able to take orders and follow them for an extended period of time. In the professional setting, if you have, let's just say you as a person, you have your own company, you say everybody should be wearing suits. Someone comes one day with shorts and a slippers, with a t-shirt, comes to your office, and it happens to be one of your employees. As an employer, how would that reflect? How would that play on your mind? What steps are you going to take? Think of it from that aspect, and there is a lot that you're going to improve on yourself. So as a professional, you need to follow the dress code of your industry, of your company setting. It's not sensitive, which means you should not discriminate on people from their culture. You should be able to respect everyone and give them the right, how will I say, all the privileges that is due to them, and respect their cultural background, It's not because you think that yours is superior, that from a minor person, you're going to oppress them for whatsoever reason. So you have to be culturally sensitive and accept diversity. Also, you should respect everyone's privacy. If a person's phone belongs to them, for no reason should you enter their phone without their permission. As you learn IT, as you dive in the world of IT, there will be the time where you get skills. You get a lot of skills. You might even be able to enter someone's phone without their permission. But why would you do that? You can access their phone without their password. You can just get your own password, get in there, do things that you want to do, but that is not ethical. So as a professional, you have to respect everyone's privacy. You should also use proper language. Don't use slangs. Don't use improper means of addressing somebody. Use the official languages that is due to be used to address everybody in a professional setting. Assuming that we are in Cameroon, I don't know if there are people from Dubai in this meeting, people from Dubai and the US. Let me just take the case of Cameroon. The official languages of this country are French and English. That is the language. Those are the languages that you're supposed to use to address anybody within the work milieu. You should not meet somebody at work or a client and start addressing the person in pidgin or in a dialect or whatsoever, whatever it is. First of all, you should mostly in what the person is comfortable with, but you should always enable to reply in English. There are exceptions where you can then apply to like get to talk to somebody at a base level that they can understand, but generally we assume that we accept that you should be used proper language to avoid anybody. Excuse me. All right, sorry. While working with your clients or in the office setting, avoid distractions. Do not easily get distracted. If your phone rings, you don't have to pick it without your client's permission. You shouldn't even be able to see your phone ring while you're working, all right? Less for like emergencies, but nevertheless, always get your client's permission before you pick any call during work. a lot more will be done on this. How would I say? Much light will be shown on these aspects when you get your accounts and start working through the platform. You get a lot more explanation digitally, and you understand what this is all about. When you're working on people's device, let's say you're servicing and repairing, you need to repair. What are things that they're supposed to implement in order to properly go about these stuff? So one thing you should do is you should always get authorization before you perform any repair. What does this mean? Irrespective of whether you're in a school, you're in an office, or you're actually in a repair shop, or you work for clients, you should always make sure that the client or your superior authorize any repair that you have to do before you about doing it. You have to always test softwares and equipment before and sorry for the age. I was just saying that if someone comes to you and wants you to work on their device for whatsoever reason it may be, and they tell you this is how it is behaving, this is the problem it has, before even checking it, make sure in front of that person, you test that device and make sure that every single component work. Because what if you don't test it and tomorrow something else was bad in there? The user brought it to you and just talked about one problem and they accuse it on you. What are you going to do? You will definitely have to refund that person or compensate the person adequately. So always enable to test softwares and equipment before and after repairs and make sure that the people confirm what your hypothesis is. Now, explain new technologies. There will come times where you need to upgrade some people and implement some upgrades on some either clients or within your working, that you need to explain to them how it works, how it beneficial. You give the pro and the cons for every single thing before actually implementing them. When you're done with your work, provide an invoice. This means an invoice is a document that provides detailed explanation for every cost within every cost that is incurred for a particular job that is being done. So in an invoice, what you actually get from supermarkets, that you call it a receipt, there are invoice. It is called an invoice. When you're done buying something, they print an invoice to you, you see the price and you pay. I think most likely this example is very much common in restaurants where you buy a whole lot, you order a whole lot of stuff. When you're done consuming them, they bring to you a receipt. That receipt is an invoice because it is pending payment. You have not yet paid. So when you provide an invoice that explains detailedly with all the total summing up, it is easier for your clients to pay without having much of an issue. Also, to verify customer satisfaction. Always ask them, were you okay with the repair? Is this thing that I did, was it all right with you? Are you satisfied with the result? With things like that, always enable to ask them and get their feedback to whether they were very much satisfied with the work was done. Now, people's opinion point a lot. Are very diverse. So it is very much common that work in the work setting, you will find people that are difficult, people that are not easy to deal with. But how do you actually deal with such people? It's not with guns or by being rude. What you have to do is acknowledge what the person is saying, clarify what you did or what you have to do to the person and make them understand. Behave nice to them, attitude or respond to them in the same way they're talking to you. Be attentive to listen to every single of their issues. Set realistic expectations. Follow them up to make sure that their solution is permanent and is what they were really expecting, And above everything, be kind to everybody and not judgmental. Don't be judgmental. In a society, which is very different from the Western world, where if you meet somebody who has a tattoo or somebody who has dreads on their head or stuff like that, there is already a pre-concept of what that person should be. You might even address them in some kind of way, which is not bad. So as a professional, do not be judgmental. Be kind and treat everybody the same. Summarily, in this summary, we talked about how you make a good impression, the way you implement your services in a work setting, and finally, we just interruption again. We're talking about the current model that we have, which is change and the change management. So rather about it right here, it will it will pretty much diverse your mind from what we are doing currently. So I will want us to leave it for some other time where you have understood a lot of other things that lead to this level. So yeah, let me proceed with the next submodule, which is PC maintenance. Can you see my screen?
No,
Can
sir.
you all see my screen?
Oh, no, no, no.
All right, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. I'll just stop this and again. Just bear with me. It's there is a little complication right now with network, but the screen is sharing. In any time from now, it should be online. So guys, like after after it, so I see round up with the whole of it. And yeah, so is it all right with you guys? We have can you guys hear me?
I can get you now.
Yeah, you can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can. I don't know about the others.
All right. Not really, she can't really hear me. So I'm trying to find out if it is all right by you that we take 30 more minutes at the end of our session to finish up with some things that we don't have much time to attend to. We need 30 more minutes.
Unfortunately, I might have to leave at when the session ends.
Oh, it's fine. So I just go in can and leave the rest for some other time. So let me see. Let me see what's here. Okay. It's I'm going to be very quick on this part right now. So this the next submodule is PC maintenance. Some of the terms we're going to be discussing here are interference, electromagnetic interference, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC. So wherever you see the abbreviation HVAC, is ventilation and air cool conditioning. So we also have radio frequency interference, or RFI. As we the definitions of these concepts are as follows. An interference is a signal that corrupts or destroys regular signals. You know what? I will send this PowerPoint slide immediately after the class in the group. So alongside the other ones, the first, the second, and this, the first and this second, I'll put them to the group. You guys be able to go through for more clarification if need be. Within your work environment, the proper temperature you should maintain is between 70 degrees Fahrenheit to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. I think you can convert that to Celsius. It should be at 30 degrees Celsius. The humidity should be between 40 to 70%. Previously, we said 40 to 60, but 70 also is not that bad. It should not just be it should not be excessive because we are going to experience condensation. We should have a separate cooling that is repetitive all around. AC, is it fans, irons, and a lot of other stuff. Have positive pressure and you should always clean your system. That's one of the things you have to do. EMI, electromagnetic interference, is a frequency that disrupts the data that is working within a data transmission part. It could be within a cable or wirelessly, or it will be within a cable. Within a cable is referred to as EMI, electromagnetic interference, and wireless protocol like Wi-Fi. Almost at the end of this session. It's just we're having a little bit of trouble communications right now, but nevertheless, RFI is a communication issue that goes for RFI is the issue that goes for wireless protocols, while EMI goes for wired protocols. So some of the things that we have here, this is radio frequencies generated by phones. Under magnetic fields, magnetic field would use EMI protection on cables, on Ethernet cables, to shield to protect them. You use shielding on cables to protect them from EMI. So for EMI protection, we use shielded cables and conduits. Like there's this particular section within a building that is meant for cables to pass there. It is pretty much safe from electromagnetic interference. Also, radio frequency can be generated by phones, microwaves, and other. So if you're having like one that is generating radio frequency and you're having using a Wi-Fi network, besides there's a high probability that you're going to have a lot of communication. So magnetic fields as well can affect the magnetic fields from like magnetic drives and other things. This maximum like SARS-2 can also interfere with these devices. We talked about cleaning previously. It's all the same thing. You use denatured or isotopy alcohol. You use anti-static vacuum, compressed air, and lane-free flow to clean your surprise. So this one anti-static vacuum looks like. You use it to suck out dirt. Also another concept of maintenance, you can also clean your CDs, clean your printers and stuff like that. So some best practices that we have is to allow your computer to sit at room temperature for at least 6 hours. This means that let's say you just use you're just from working with the computer outside, and it's of assuming that maybe an Amazon delivery guy, you bought a laptop, an Amazon delivery guy brought the laptop, came it at your doorstep, it stayed outside in the cold for like 2 hours before you got home. When you got home, eventually you took it inside. You don't just power it on the way. You have to like wait for 6 hours for your laptop to sit at room temperature and settle down a little bit before you put it on. You should also use covers and pieces to protect equipment when not in use. I believe growing up, a lot of us see this scenario where there is this part of this type of tissue, this type of cloth that I use to throw that they throw on TVs. So like when the TV is not in use, they show that need to prevent dust from getting in. You should use cable ties and anchors to keep cables organized. Within the first session, I think the start of the session of Friday, we saw a very disorganized cable management where cables were just anyhow and just mixed around. So we see that you could use a tie or an anchor to keep cables organized and passing within a particular channel to avoid to make a more organized work environment. Always perform regular backups of important data. This is one thing that is very important. In your devices, always make sure that you do backups, irrespective of a laptop, a phone, or whatever it is that you have. You never know. Or you can make online backup to the cloud, backup to a physical storage, or backup locally. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you always back up your data. So summarily, we've talked about the proper temperature and humidity that is supposed to be maintained within an office environment. We've also talked about how you protect yourself from electromagnetic interference, your devices from electromagnetic interference, and how we clean PC components. Sorry if I'm a little fast at the moment. It's just that there are a lot of things that we got to go through that I just want to throw some light on before the session comes to an end. So PC networking. This is a networking toolkit. It has a lot of components that you use to work on the PC, to troubleshoot a PC or a net. All right, guys. There's something that's really going on. So I was talking about this extension magnet. It is a component that you use to pick up screws that fall deep into compartments of your PC that your hands cannot easily reach. So that magnet is at the top of it. So you just send it deep inside, it sticks to it, the components, the screw sticks to it, and you can tell. There is also a three-prong holder. It does the same, it plays the same role as an extension magnet to pick up screws that are in places where your hand cannot easily go to. This is a multimeter. As you go forward in the world of IT, you will come across this device a lot. It is a device that permits you to test current or voltage and a lot more other stuff that are electronic. We also see here a power supply tester. There is this component in your desktop that we talked about, which is a PSU, the power supply unit. Most of the times, the PC might be functioning, it might be malfunctioning, and you find yourself not even able to determine what it is. But if you suspect that your power supply is a problem, you can simply turn it on and plug it to this device. It will permit you to know whether your power supply is there by stating the voltage that are being supplied there. So the voltage will know the device is a problem, or it is just the power supply that is a problem. We call this two-generator probe. How do they work? It's used like in large cabling facilities, right? In an office setting where you have too many internet cables that go to a server room, and every single cable go to individual offices inside the building. You cannot really know which cable is which while you are inside the server room. So what you do is that you can plug this particular here, you put on one end cable, and then you use this other one to start detecting or moving with it on the wall, and you'll be able to tell you when it touches the cable that this one is plugged on, it will start beeping. You will need to know that, oh, it's this cable that I plugged this one to. I don't know that that's what I want to use. So that's how it's done. You plug the twin generator, the bulb at one end of the wall, and then you use the twin generator to move it. You see, right on the server rack. Here you'll be able to determine that, oh, it is the cable. When it blinks, you know that is it. So this is a cable tester. This is a digital variation of a cable tester. There are other variations. It's simply to test if your Ethernet cable that you're crimped, the cable that you're prepared to track data with is it is working properly. This one here I was saying that the loopback plug is a device that you use to test if a cable is functioning properly when you suspect maybe that it has broken somewhere. So what it essentially does is that it sends data to that cable on one end and receives the data on the other end. So it will now compare if what it sent is what it receives to now be able to determine whether the cable is working properly or it is not working properly. We also have and other tools that you need to have as a PC technician are known good spare parts. So you just have to have some of these spare parts that are working. You know that they are working to be able to replace those that are fault in the system to be able to, so that you can troubleshoot what your issue is as you're trying to figure out the problem within an office setting or a job environment. So I'm just trying to share the screen. So you can see some of the spare parts, some of the non-good spares that we can work with. So basically, guys, we are done for the day. We have gone a little bit over our time already, and the other information that we need to cover in this session are things that you can easily cope with when you go through the student platform. So those are as a matter of fact, this session for today, we can call it an end here as a means of conclusion. I want all of you to think of something that was not well propaged or that we need to have more light thrown on as we have reached the session before we all take our various parts. So is there any question?
Yes, sir, I got the question, sir. The networking tool, are we to buy one, sir?
Question.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking if that PC tool, are we to buy it?
No, you will be using them. You'll be using them in the student platform. All of them are being simulated already. You don't need to pay for anything physically. You don't pay for any physical equipment. As of now, as of your training, you don't need any physical equipment. It is only when maybe you'll be in an office setting or do work somewhere that you might need this toolkit.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
For students, for those of you who are still students who are studying software engineering, networking, or some of those specialties, you will need to get one for your because you'll be using it within your training, within your academic courses. So yeah, is that all we have as a question? Who else has another question?
John?
Yes,
I have a
Mr.
question.
Felix, can you just go ahead?
Yes, please. As regarding humidity, the mention of humidity
Yes.
should be around 40 to 70%. Just to ask, concerning this humidity, is it set in the machine, or it maybe you might be working in an office that has an air conditioner, you maybe condition it to fall within that range? Hello?
Sorry, the network was a little shaky. Can you ask your question again?
Okay. The question was just regarding humidity, just to shed more light on the humidity aspect. Is it a setting in the machine that you can easily maybe set or rearrange your parameters to fall within a particular range of humidity, or is it with the environment where you're working in?
All right, thank you for that question. Once again, you're bringing in another aspect that we didn't see this thing from. Please just mute yourself, all right? All right, thank you. So his question is going from the science where he's trying to know if when we say we should keep humidity at an average rate of for 40 to 60 or 70%, is it a setting within the PC software or is it an environmental setting that we are supposed to control? The answer to this question is it is an external factor, an environmental setting that is supposed to be controlled. In a computer setting where you have like in a server room, there is cooling that is being that is carried out in that area. There are like air conditioners or ventilations that are responsible to sending cool air and take out hot air from that place. So as a matter of fact, you need an appropriate level of humidity to either avoid power surge, so avoid electrostatic discharge if it's too dry, because if it's too dry, you get electrostatic discharge, and if it is too wet, you get condensation. The way you manage that average level of humidity is by controlling the air conditioning, the ventilation system for that office setting or for that particular computer setting. Do you understand? So it's not a software setting. It's not something that's inside the computer. It is something that you manage physically. Is that okay?
Very clear.
All right. Do you have any other question?
This one, it's a little bit out of, but it has to do with HV and ACs.
It has to go with.
It has to do with HVs and ACs, heating, ventilations, and
air conditioning. All right.
Yes. So they always say, like, when you are doing some work and you put your laptop, for example, on your laps, it might affect you in some way. I don't know, is it due to this heating, ventilation, or ACs?
No, HVAC is actually a term that is used to refer to the coolings. Sorry, I have to mute you because your mic is making some kind of crazy noise. So HVAC is an acronym that is used to explain the concept of air ventilation, air conditioning within a server room or a room where there are many computers. As of the question that you link to, or when you use laptops on your labs, if it's a problem to you, if it's related, no, they are not related. Now, let me explain it. There are totally two different concepts. HVAC is cooling for a server room or a computer where a room where there are many computers. And for laptops, why they say you should not use laptops on your lab is because generally the processor is going to produce a lot of heat as you work with the PC, and this heat is sometimes evacuated through some vents that are on the laptop. Some laptops have these holes. When I mean vents, I mean holes. Some of these holes are found under the laptop, others are found at the corners. For those that are found, either way, no matter the positioning of those holes, the laptop's physical case is always going to get hot. And when they get hot, if they're touching your body physically, you can risk stuff like cancer, because it might affect some of your cells or genetics. I don't know. I think you're the biology guy. I don't know how genetic mutations can affect you, and stuff like leads to some health complications and things like that. So it's just mostly for your well-being. If we say don't use laptop on your labs, it's not related to HVAC. It's just related to with respect to your personal well-being, and for you to avoid risk of getting any illness.
Thanks for that clarification.
You're welcome. Any other question from you before we move to someone else?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, cool. Nabila, you want to say something?
Yeah. Please, I wanted to ask that what's the difference between AC and DC current, and which of the currents are used at our homes for electricity?
Okay. Before that, I want to just show you guys something on Zoom. On Zoom, if you want to speak when somebody is speaking, there's possibility for you to raise your hand, like I just did. If you notice, I just raised my hand, right? Can you all see that?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. If you want to say something, you can raise your hand. It is found under, there is this emoji icon that says reactions. When you click on it, you will see raise hand. You can raise, exactly. George has done that. Everyone should do it to be sure that you know how to do it. Nabila has done that. Everyone should raise their hand to be sure that you master the feature. Everyone should raise. Good. Mazulia has raised her hand. Click on reactions and raise hand. Click. All right, Felix has raised his hand. Zidane has raised. Valer, you're the one that is left. Raise your hand. Valer, raise your hand. Is Valer with us? I think this is the one person that has not.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, raise your hand to be sure that you've known how, no matter how this feature works. Are you having any difficulties with doing that?
I'm looking for the emoji.
You see, you should see reactions somewhere. Reactions. If you cannot see, you can scroll. Good. Now you know how to do that. If you want to, you can also make reactions. If something is understood, you can do thumbs up, you can do, yeah, clap, you can send. If I say maybe it's something understood, you must not always speak with your mouth. By using these little captions, it makes me to proper follow you up and to just stay completely quiet. You can also do thumbs down like this. Have you understood? You can do thumbs down as I just did and understand that something is wrong, so I have to explain again. So that's just for our understanding for all of us. It's for us. It's a means for us to work in a more understanding environment as we continue in this training. So thank you all for your time. Let me address the question of AC current and DC current that the lady asked about, and which one is used in the home. AC stands for alternating current that moves up and down. It is not stable. DC stands for direct current which is stabilized. What you use inside your house is what comes inside your house is AC current. It is alternating. So one thing that most of your devices convert them into direct current before using them. There's a particular component in the power adapters that converts AC current into DC current. So you're going to be able to use them. No electronic device can use AC current directly. They are always converted first into DC current. So even if what comes into your home is AC current, at the end of the day, what you'll be using is DC current, because there are some specific components inside those devices that can convert alternating current to direct current. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Who else with the question? Even if you think the question is stupid, ask it. You're in a safe space. Even if you think your question is stupid, just go ahead and ask it. All right. So nobody's saying something. Okay, Mazule, I think you have something to ask. Do you have a question? Mazule, do you have a question?
No, I don't have any question, but I was just curious to know where we were going to work physically.
When you're going to work physically, it's actually in the student. It's in the student platform we've been talking about. Feel free to get to me after this meeting. Feel free to contact me immediately after this meeting. I will give you the steps to follow for that to happen. You can have your account as soon as you need it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So I believe that is all. It was a nice time, guys. Glad to work with you. I look forward to working more closely with all of you and see you all next week. Have a great new week. Happy New Week.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.